Well, today it's raining, but hey, I got my keys. Not just my keys, I got my Carpo keys. See that? My buddy made me a keychain. Is that badass or what? Thanks, Scoey. So it's pouring rain out here. I've been working on my car for, well, let's just say a year. I mean, I've had a whole variety of problems. It died at work on my way home on, well, I went to start it on Friday when I was coming home, and it didn't want to work. It just turned over and it would get gas, then it would die. I think I tracked it down to a fuel issue, but I just got back from buying a fuel pump, and they didn't have the strainer that came with it. You can buy the whole assembly for like 350 bucks, or you can buy the fuel pump itself for like, you know, 50 to 100 bucks. I didn't want to buy a super high-end one because I was afraid it might not be the problem. But I had to buy this, then I had to buy the strainer for it as well. And the strainer is what you would call a fuel filter. In a 2002 Honda, there's no fuel filter in line that before the engine. It's just a fuel sock. This is the fuel filter. And different models have different things they need. So anyway, I went down to buy these, and I finally tracked them down. And the funny thing is that my car has been throwing the check engine light. It almost died on the freeway. And then it just started running fine again. And now I'm super confused. I got it towed home. I tried to work on it all day. In the evening, I tried to move it. It would idle finally, but if I gave it gas, it would die. And I got the idea it might be the fuel pump. But the fuel pump was obviously working, and I thought it might be dying. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my keys in here, and I'm going to use this, my beautiful new OBD2 Reader. And this is something I probably should have bought years ago, but now that they're affordable, 38 bucks for this little thing, little Innova 5010. And what I'm going to do is take it down here into this little area and plug it into this thing. Usually this is mounted up in there, but right now it's mine's down because here's the thing. It's a 16-pin connector. You can actually jumper a wire from like port 1 to 14 or something, and it will, then you can turn the key over and it will flash the check engine light. So this is something about a 2002 that you should know if you drive one of these models. It would be the 6th generation Honda from 98 to 2002, and this is a Honda Accord. So the check engine light, if you jumper, okay, I'll show you right now. So I've got the taper going downwards. One goes in here in the very bottom left, and one goes in the fourth to the right on the top. And you jumper those with the any kind of wire, or, you know, I use a paper clip. And then what you do is you turn the key over to the on position, and the check engine light will come on, then it will turn off, and then what it will do is it'll flash, long flashes and short flashes. And every long flash is counted as a 10-digit and short flashes as a 1-digit. So for example, if it flashes 3 longs and then 2 shorts, that's 32. And it's that simple. And a lot of folks don't know about that. So they end up going out and buying a code reader. But I did this because I'm sick of doing that. I want to be able to plug this in and be sure. So this is the first time I have ever plugged this thing in. Let's see what we got here. Beep, beep. It beeped. That's good. It says read. So I'm going to turn it off, then turn it back on to the number 2 position. Let's see what we got. Now my hope is that it won't read anything, because I'm not showing any codes right now. P1399. Okay, so it is showing a code. So I want to write these down, and I guess the way this works is it's a medium issue. It can be not bad, bad, or horrible. $13.99. So I'm gonna write that down on a piece of paper here. $13.99. Oh, something's wrong with the marker. $13.99. Now let's hope that let's hope there aren't any more. Push the OTC button, and that's supposed to take you to the next one. It only says $13.99. That's good. So I guess what I want to do is I want to go to Google and Honda code $13.99. Is that what it was? See, my brain's not working. Yep, there it is. P $13.99. Random cylinder misfire detected. Now that's okay, because honestly, that's what was happening because of the fuel issue. So I'm going to clear that. Erase. And it should be erasing the code now. I haven't even looked at the instructions. But that's the only code it's showing, so that's good. Yes. Okay. Erase. Done. Okay. So, let's do this. So I'm going to unplug it now. I'm going to start it. I also had a maintenance required light and a check engine light on, which both now are off. At least O'Reilly's only cost me $140 this time. Honestly, with all the problems I've had with this little Honda, I gotta say, this is probably the best freaking car out there if you take care of it. And I don't take care of it. I have a problem with the manifold. I don't replace shit as soon as I should, and I damn well don't do oil changes every 3,000 years. And I know if you do oil changes every 3,000 years, every 3,000 miles, you'll be much happier. And I completely get that. But I just don't. And I'm trying to do better. There's two reasons. One, I'm lazy, obviously. I don't want to deal with oil change. But number two, I feel like 3,000 miles is overkill. There is so much oil just being pumped out of cars every 3,000 miles that it just kind of sickens me that I know we could get at least a couple thousand more out of that as long as you keep it topped off. And in fact, wow, it's still not showing a check engine light. That's great. But maybe that's just my excuse and justification. Okay, so we're going to plug it back in here. We're going to check it again. Turn it to read. Turn it to the second position. What's it going to say? Let's just hope it says nothing and it's green, because if that's the case, I'll be happy. And then I can get to work tomorrow and I don't have to worry about dying on the freeway. 0 DTC. Holy crap. Does that mean there's nothing? I don't know. 0 DTC. I guess that means there are 0 diagnostic codes. I'm happy with that. So I will leave it at that, and I will turn this beast off. I also got some specialized multi-vehicle import ATF fluid, which is the only shit you should be using if you have a Honda. I guess the one thing I've learned is to use original parts whenever you can. So I'm pretty convinced that I'll get to work. And if I don't, then I can replace that on the freeway. But I wanted to show you how beat up my engine is. Now, a lot of the times when people have a YouTube video and they open up their engine bay, it's all clean and crisp. I don't even have a bar to hold up my hood. My 16 valve thing, let's just say that it's not a VTEC, it's not fancy, it's not super fast, But these things get you where you're going. The transmissions don't slip. It's so smooth when you drive it. A Honda Accord from the 6th gen, any Honda Accord is a great car. But the reason why it's so rusted out on the top of this cover is because some rodents had nested on this thing and totally screwed it up. They pissed all over it and had a bunch of, feces, and it just, chipped all this crap off, which I don't really care. I'm not in this for the looks. But I wanted to say that I let this thing sit for about 1.5 years, and when I finally had somebody come check it out, they told me something was wrong with the intake manifold, and it would be $1,000 to replace. And I said, nah, screw it. And then I had somebody come take a second look. A friend of my wife's friend at work, her coworker's boyfriend, this Mexican guy, he comes in and he's like, oh yeah, it's a $30 part. He charged me $50 or something. I ended up giving him like $150. I'm like, you just saved me all this money by being honest. But it had something to do with the intake manifold. And I found out later that, okay, I was finding pieces of paper in the intake, and I found out that they were coming from here. Those same rats or mice had chewed through the air filter, and pieces of the air filter were getting sucked through the intake and into there. And so what was happening is it was getting wedged inside that flap, and so the accelerator would get stuck on, and it was revving up really high. I remember just pulling that pipe one time at a stoplight, like going in and cleaning it out and getting to work. But anyway, I've had many problems with this. That was a $100 repair. I had some electrical issues recently, and I could not identify it. It turned out it was a bad wire, but it was pretty new wire, so it was just the boot that was temporarily cracked, only at certain times, so it was intermittent. I fixed that finally. Then I was showing an O2 sensor code, so for $30 I replaced the O2 sensor, and then the fuel issue started happening, so I bought the fuel pump. But honestly, all of this shit is under $500, dude. And when I first got it repaired after being around for 2 years, it seized up. It just was smoking, and I realized that it had been sitting so long that the alternator had frozen up and it seized, so the belt was slipping over the alternator and smoking. So I bought a new alternator. So to get this thing running after sitting for 2 years, it was under $500. It cost me more time than anything, and that's because I'm pretty bad about that shit. But maybe I'll grab this pipe here, because while I'm here and it's warm, I would like to check the transmission oil, because I haven't done that yet, and that's what I bought it for, and it looks like it's low. No, maybe not. Let's clean it off and find out. It's down here on the left, way down there. Yeah. Honestly, doesn't smell burnt. But I'm only getting it on one side of that dipstick, and I want to make sure that it's actually... Yeah. Doesn't look like it's getting on this side, so maybe it does need some. But we'll do that soon enough here. That's what we bought fluid for, right? I don't know why it's only showing on one side. It makes me fear that I don't want to add too much tranny fluid here. Okay, it's definitely low. So I'm okay with adding a little bit of transmission fluid, because that's what I bought it for. The thing about Hondas, you do not want to mess with anything that you don't have to. I mean, transmission fluid, this is not a very common need for one of these guys. These Hondas last forever and they run forever. I'm not saying you shouldn't put it in there. I'm just saying, say try start a half. Whoop, god damn it. I spilled some. That happens. About a half a quart to start, because I honestly don't know how much fluid this thing even takes. And I know that it's not enough to do an accurate test because that tranny fluid is not warm like the rest of it. So when you do a transmission fluid check, you want to do it, okay, boom, we're coming up at least halfway on the dipstick, and that's good. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. If it ran fine, that's probably 5 years worth of use. So I'm just going to put the rest away, and when it's warm next time, I'll do the next test. But my maintenance light came on, and I don't know why. So I thought maybe there's a sensor in there for tranny fluid. But anyway, here we go. We're good to go. I will put this away, and then next time, my beautiful Honda, next time we'll get whatever it needs next. So that's it. I'm gonna get out of the rain and watch the rest of my movie now. So peace out. Thanks for coming, and I hope you learned something about Hondas. What's up, puppy?